Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name is Johnny, and this is Beyond the Mask. And today's guest is very, very exciting guest. Josh, welcome, man. Today's guest has built his name in the entrepreneurship world. Okay, growing his audiences to millions, have over a million different downloads for his podcast, helping his own clients generate millions and millions of dollars in sales, and just teaching clients or teaching coaches all over the world how to attract wealthy clients. But behind the strategies and success and everything that you've had, there's definitely a deeper story here. Okay, one that's powered by faith, failure, identity, and just discovering what truly matters in your own life. So everyone, please welcome Josh Forti. Today we're gonna
What's
be
up,
talking.
Johnny?
Yeah, man, I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy we finally get to do this.
Yeah,
Um,
it's been a long time coming. We need to make it happen, so I'm glad we could. I'm excited.
yeah,
Thank you for having me.
100%, 100%. So today we're gonna be going beyond the metrics of the mindset hacks and everything, and just discovering who the man is behind the golden mic. So welcome, Josh. I've loved seeing your Tesla, your
It is a
tank there in
Tesla.
your
Yeah,
tank there in the background. That's
it
awesome.
is. It's like a dude. It really is. It's like a tank. It's like I had a we have an event coming up soon, and I get IVs like when I do events to like stay hydrated and stuff, and the
Oh yeah.
IV guy came over, and we were chit chatting, and it's like one of those things where we live in Colorado. You don't really know how people are going to take a Cybertruck, let's say, right?
Yeah.
But we started talking. He mentioned Elon, and then he was talking about that, and I was like, actually, drive a Cybertruck. And he's like, dude, oh my gosh! And so he wanted to go see it, and he's like, it's like it looks like a spaceship. I'm like, that's kind of what it feels like.
It kind
So
of feels like
anyway,
it. Yeah. Yeah, you
yeah.
took me around. You took me around for a sweet little drive a couple of months ago, and it's
Oh
quite
yeah, that's
impressive.
right. Isn't it? It's pretty cool.
It's
It's
pretty
pretty
cool.
cool.
Yeah, you're saying it kind of feels like a sports car, but like in a truck. Like the truck
Yeah.
feel also feels like a sports car, which is wild.
Yeah, it handles like a sports car, but has the utility of a truck. And it's
Yeah,
like
that's crazy.
I was watching Elon on Joe Rogan, his latest interview that he did, and he's like, the Cybertruck is like alien technology because it doesn't feel like something that big and that heavy should be able to go that fast. And I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. All right, so everyone kind of sees the polished version of you, right? Everything you've been able to do online, which is really cool. But I want to kind of rewind the clock a little bit, okay? Who was Josh before you became an entrepreneur? Like, if someone had to meet you before the followers, before the money, before all that kind of stuff, what kind of person would they have seen?
Yeah. I grew up so I was born in Wisconsin. And at age 1, my family moved to Southern California. And I lived about the first like 11 years of my life out there. My dad's brother, so my uncle had a company out there. And so my dad worked for him for a little bit. And when I was 11, we moved across the country. My family all got into the back of an RV. I have 7 brothers and sisters, so there's 8 of us. We got in the back of an RV and we moved to a little farm town in Indiana. And that was, a culture shock for sure. Southern
Farm
California
boy, yeah.
to a farm, right? A farm in the middle of nowhere. But you would have found at age 11, I guess it was technically I was 12 when we actually moved to the farm. But for the next decade of my life, I grew up on a farm, a 22-acre farm, and helped my neighbor who farmed 1,500 to 2,000 acres do farming. And so you would have found a very insecure, very loud and obnoxious kid who was trying to figure himself out, figure life out, who wanted to be rich and famous because that's what he thought would give him freedom, who felt trapped by the world, and very ambitious, right? Like big goals, big dreams, all of that. But I wouldn't have called myself an entrepreneur at the time. I just knew that I wanted to be my own boss because that's how you made a lot of money, and then made it to where no one could tell you what to do. And I hated being told what to do. One of my favorite
I feel
clips,
like
I don't
most
know.
entrepreneurs start because they hate being told what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In a very real way, I think you're absolutely correct. And
yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Tucker Carlson's style of things, but there's a clip of him where it's like, I have a moral claustrophobia of being told what to do. It's like it just violates me on on a level that is just unacceptable. And I'm like, I feel that so deeply. I'm like, yeah, don't tell me
Yeah.
what to do, right? And so yeah, that was my starting point. That was before entrepreneurship. I grew up on a farm, and I've got no hatred or anything. I've got nothing but gratitude for that lifestyle. It taught hard work, but really the growing up with seven brothers and sisters, being out on the farm every single day, morning and night, taking care of the animals. I mean, hard work, grit, determination, and a very, very small lens of the world for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I feel like you can't really measure your own success or how far you've come if you don't start off at like a really low point.
I mean, I'm sure you could measure it, but it certainly would I think feel like maybe the transformation wouldn't be as great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at one point you had very normal jobs, right? You worked at like a hardware store and a radio station. Like these are a couple of jobs that you had before starting your own business, right?
Kind of. So actually, I didn't work at a hardware store. I actually worked at a hardware distribution center, and I
Oh,
worked
okay.
at night shift. So when I graduated high school, I was homeschooled. I bought a pickup truck. I stood on the back and I said, like literally, I stood up there and declared to the world publicly, to the cornfields, that I would never read another book again, and I'm gonna go, make my own way in life. And
Yeah.
so as I was trying to figure out entrepreneurship, I served waited tables, like was a server at Olive Garden. And then I got an internship at a radio station, and unpaid. That was just like, I was trying to like figure stuff out, make connections and whatnot. And then I would work night shift at a hardware distribution center. So I would literally go into work at 11 o'clock or midnight. I would work overnight, and then I would sleep for a couple of hours, and then I would go and intern at the radio station, and then I would go wait tables, and then I would go home and I'd sleep for a couple of hours, and I'd go back to work, and like we would just repeat the process, right? And it
Yeah.
was just, was trying to, like, I didn't have any money, dude. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any connections. I didn't have any, like, I had nothing. And I mean, I had a good work ethic. I had, a good family and all that. But as far as like a competitive advantage in entrepreneurship, and so for me though, I think we as entrepreneurs, or anyone, and not even entrepreneurs, I think all humans innately have a desire to be free at a certain level.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe more specifically to men, I'm not a woman, so I, can't speak to that super well. But as men, like we have this kind of inherent need, or this inherent like drive to want to provide, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted a family someday. I knew that I wanted to, have success and, be influential and all that. And it was like, I needed to be able to get ahead in life. I needed to be able to make money a non-issue on a daily basis. And
Yeah.
at that point in my life, in fact, up until my whole life, up until maybe the last 5 years or so, every decision that I made was based around money, or mostly
Yeah.
lack thereof, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, if you worry about money on a daily basis, it's not a bad thing if that's where you're at. But it's like, if you stay there forever, then that would be a choice if you're living in America, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're living in any form of modern civilization. And so I was like, okay, I've got to figure out a way to get ahead, to make money a non-issue. And there was a decade of my life where every single day was just stressed about money. And it's like that pain though, that frustration, I'm very grateful for. It sucked. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah.
I will never forget what it is like to have $100 feel like a lot of money, or $1,000 feel like whoa, or $10,000 be like, you might as well ask me for $1 million, right?
Right.
And not like understanding what that's like. And what that did was, it taught me the value of understanding how things work. Because when you don't have something and you know what that feels like, and then you have something and you know what that feels like, and you went through the process of going from one to another, it requires you to figure that game out at a level that someone who has not gone through that would not understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey everyone, Johnny here. Sorry for interrupting, but I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you so much for being here on my podcast. If you guys are enjoying the episodes and the conversations that I'm having with these special guests, please go ahead and like this video and hit that subscribe button so that you guys can see our future episodes. I know there's a ton of different podcasts and episodes that you could be listening to or watching right now. So once again, thank you so much for being here and supporting us. All right. Now back to the show. Well, I feel like if you know what that pain feels like, you're more determined to just figure out how to get rid of that pain. So you will do anything in your power to figure it out,
Yep.
right? And
That's why
unfortunately, with
painkillers are more they sell better than a
yeah,
healthy diet.
yeah, don't tell me that.
I said they
No,
sell better. I didn't say they were better. I
they
just
are
said they
better.
sell better.
Yeah, yeah. So was there like a moment in time or like a sudden realization, like a turning point when you realize like this is it, like this entrepreneurship world is meant for me, or like I'm meant for this bigger moment in my life.
Hmm.
For example, for me, right, I've been a personal trainer. I was working in the gym for a couple of years, and then I got fired. Right then, because the reason
Hmm.
why I got fired was because people just started giving me cash because I was doing such a good job, and I'm not
Oh,
allowed
they
to
paid
take
you
tips.
directly.
Right. And although yes, they are paying for their sessions, they love the sessions so much that they were just like putting cash in my pockets. And I was like, I'm not really allowed to do this. But when my boss saw this, he thought that I was getting paid under the table and cheating the system. So then he fired me. And I was like, well, I don't really need this to make money. I can just go off and do it on my own. So that's kind of my
That's a
whole
great story.
that's whole my turning point was like, you know what? Screw you. I'm just gonna start reaching out to my friends because I know that I'm a good coach. I know that what I do works.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna like have
Yeah.
full faith in myself that I can just do this. Right.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, that's cool. I think for me, perhaps everyone has a different story, and I think we experience similar emotions and frustrations along the way. It's like we can
Yeah.
all relate. I'll tell people about the craziest moments of my life. My brother passing away, my wife getting sick overseas, like all these crazy things, and I usually end that story by going, "Now, none of you have that exact story, but you all have that exact story." Right? It's
Same
like you
story,
all
different version. Yeah.
exactly. You all
Yeah.
have that. And so for me, I knew 100%, like for as long ago as I can remember, I knew that I was going to be my own boss. I did not want someone telling me what to do.
Yeah.
And so I'm 31, if I was making $3,000 or $4,000 a month right now, working, like trying to figure it out, like if I was like just barely getting by, would I quit? No. I would not stop. I would spend every single waking moment of my entire life trying to figure out how to work for myself rather than just quit and go work for a boss. And
Yeah.
so for me, I don't think the moment was like, oh, entrepreneurship is for me, as much as it was like, oh, wow, entrepreneurship is finally starting to work. Because like my whole life, it was like, people were like, well, how did you not quit? I'm like, I don't think you get it. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't an option, right? Like that it'd be like, well, why didn't you just, I don't know, go kill somebody? It's like, well, that's not an option. I'm not gonna like that's against my moral. Like
It's
I
not
don't know. I
even
never
part
thought of
of the
that.
playbook.
Right?
Yeah.
Like yeah. So I think that was mine. And the frustrating part was that it felt like I was trying really, really hard, and it felt like I was doing all of the right things, and it felt like I was going and like trying. It felt like someone was saying, "Hey, 2 + 2 = 4," and I was doing 2 + 2, and it was equaling square wood. And you're like, "What even is this?" And so I think that was the frustrating part for me. But yeah,
Yeah. That's a really good answer. Because I feel like a lot of people like want to start something, they either don't know how or they don't know what the next step is, and they stay stuck for a long time, but they just don't know what they need to do next. So sometimes it's just faith, sometimes it's just being like, you know what, screw it, I can do it, and then they just get started, and then it just starts building on top of that. It's like kind of
yeah,
like that iceberg. It's like that iceberg image where it's like, here's the success, but then everything underneath the water is all the other crap you have to go through.
yeah. And I think you're a really good example of that. Um, like I think back to like when I first met you versus where you're at now when it comes to your understanding of like offers and psychology and even in your own
Yeah,
business on things. It's like most people didn't see all of that. Like most
right.
people didn't see all of the work, and they never will.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm a big believer in Bitcoin, and I mean I study
I think
it
everyone knows that. Yeah.
like crazy obsession of over this. And I was talking to my mom the other day, and I said, I had a realization recently. I said, I don't think I'm ever going to have the Bitcoin moment. Meaning, I don't think we're ever going to have the day when Bitcoin just takes over the world and everybody tells me, oh, yes, Bitcoin saved the world and da 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 da. It's just going to like happen and it's going to be normal, like the internet or anything else. And I said, and it's crazy because there are people like me who have spent thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. I mean, like thousands of hours, like studying this, building stuff with it, trying to get it out there to change
Yeah.
people's lives. And most of the world will never know that.
Yeah.
And it was this weird, like, that's interesting. Do I believe it enough to do it, whether or not anyone ever knows? And, I kind of think back to, what you were just saying there, like all of that success of you're going to put in a lot of work, like a lot of work. You're going to have late nights. I'm married. I've got two beautiful daughters and two under two right now. We're in that season of life. And, it's late nights. It's early mornings. It's, getting up and changing diapers. It's dealing with clients. It's, this whole ball of chaos. But if you have a goal and you're willing to go and say, listen, I don't know what the path is going to look like for me to get to that goal, but I'm going to get to that goal.
Yeah.
Then you don't get to choose the path, but you'll end up there because
Right.
you can either choose the outcome or you can choose the path. If you choose the path, then you don't get to determine where you're going to end up because all you do is you pull up. It's like if you were in a car and you were driving and it's like a stop sign. You could go left, right, or straight. Choose. It's like, all right, well, straight. Next one, left, right, or straight. I don't know, left. It's like, okay, well, next one, right. Where are you going? I don't know. We're just seeing whatever. I
Yeah.
get to choose the path. Or you could go and say, I'm going to that building over there. And when you pull up to a stop sign and there's construction and you've got to go around and do a massive detour, it's like you wouldn't choose that route if you weren't going
Right.
to that building. But if you do, or if you are going to that building, then you will just stick with the path. And I think that if people got clear on where it was that they wanted to go, that the world would be a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the path would just identify itself.
Yeah, but only one step at a time though.
Yeah.
Like
No,
it's
for sure.
crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Go to church, flat irons, and shout out to Pastor Jim. And a lot of it is just like God's like, okay, here's the next step, and you're like, wait, well, okay, but hold on, God, like, wait, see,
So yeah, that's not what I hadn't planned. So
right, and it's like,
Yeah.
see, like, I know you're telling me to go that direction, but also it's like foggy, and I like literally can't see the next step, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's like dangerous over there.
Yeah.
It's like, no, all right, just next step, next step, next step, next step. Keep your eyes on him. Next step, and
Yeah.
I think that the same is true for business. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably one of the scariest things about business is like to a level you don't. I feel like some people don't 100% know what they're doing. They're just like, this is where I'm trying to go, and I'm gonna just figure it out as I go. Right? It's really scary because it's unknown. Right? So throughout your whole success and your whole career, I'm sure there were points in time where it was hard, where you were frustrated, where you felt stuck.
Most of
Right?
them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what kind of mindset shift helped you to stay grounded and just keep on going? Was it your faith? Was it just being disciplined? Was it following a system? Was it your relationships that you've built with other entrepreneurs? Like what was the thing that kind of helped you out there?
I mean, going back to my answer earlier, like I knew where I was going, and I'm like,
Yeah.
there was no plan B. So as far as like what kept me on track or
Yeah.
focused, I just knew where I was going. What helped me get through the moments, or what helped me get like find the answers that I needed to, get the clarity that I needed to get, helping through the hard times. Not that I was ever going to quit or like go off track, but what helped me get through those was early on coaching and mentoring first and foremost, getting
Yeah.
around people that had what I wanted and understanding that it would be months or even years before I fully understood what it was that they were trying to show me.
Mhm.
But then about 3 years ago, I recommitted my life to Christ, and I mean, like really understood Jesus. Well, I don't really understand Jesus. He just is, right?
Yeah.
But had a new understanding of who Jesus was for the first time, like the King, someone who is worthy of giving your life to, worthy of following, like has defeated death, not will defeat death and all of dark, like has already done, like forever. And when I recommitted my life to Him, I believe that I experienced the power of the Holy Spirit in a way that I had never experienced it before. And so I would say that while coaches and mentors still play a critical role, they would be like a little lower on the totem pole. First and
Yeah.
foremost, it would be relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like I've had some stressful days, I've had some ups and some downs. I've made a fair amount of money. I've lost some money. I've made some money, a fair amount of money back. And um, at the end of the day, like when like ever since I've recommitted my life to Christ, when my head hits the pillow, I've got no stress. Like I'm like, I don't worry about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's like insane. Like that's
Yeah.
like, it's unheard of, really. I mean, at least in my life growing up, it was always stress. It was always worry. It was always like, and so I think that grounding, secondarily, my wife, just the most incredible human. I mean, just so supportive and also just an incredible mother, incredible wife, like on her own journey on things and like her commitment to growth and to Christ as well. Uh, her. And then third would be coaches and mentors. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You need someone in your life that when they look at you and say, I believe in you, or when they look at you and say, you got this, or when they look at you and say, like, yeah, that's you,
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
actually believe them.
Yeah.
Because anyone can say it. But it wasn't until I had a coach that when she told it to me, her name is Katie, was my first like transformational, like, whoa, that I actually believed her.
Yeah.
And that was when life started to change real quick. Yeah.
Yeah. I like how you said you lay your head down on your pillow at night and just you're at peace. Like you know everything's gonna be fine. Is that because you have full faith in God and His plan for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus is the king,
Yeah.
like the king. And I grew up probably similar to many of the listeners and probably you as well, where that's not how Jesus was portrayed. In my mind, it was like Jesus loves the little children. He's like a shepherd boy, like he's like a meek and I'm like, he's not that. He is that. He's so tender and so good and so wonderful and so loving. And also, he's the king. Like he came down in the
Yeah.
form of a human, lived a perfect life, was beaten, was abused, like they spit on the face of God and ripped his beard off. They put a crown of thorns on him. They did the most horrifically painful things. Then they hung him on a cross. And in that state, a state that most of us, like, we can't even fathom that pain. But in that state, he
Yeah.
then went and took on all of sin and all of darkness and all of evil of all of the world. Like, think of the most messed up, disgusting, horrible evil you can possibly think of throughout all of eternity, all simultaneously at the same time. And in
Yeah.
the state of hanging on the cross, he won. Praise Jesus, hallelujah. Like, he is
Yeah.
worthy. And like when I had that realization, when the Holy Spirit like showed that to me, and I got to experience that for the first time, it was like, oh, like you're the king, right? And you love me and you want what's best for me and you're on my
Yeah.
side and you have good plans for me and you want a relationship with me. And like that's who's on my side. Okay, I can sleep. I think I can give my
Yeah.
life to you and I think I can sleep well at night.
That's
That's,
awesome.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. So you said you dedicated your life to Christ a couple years ago. Do you feel like your relationship with God has evolved throughout the last couple of years?
Yes.
Yeah, because I didn't really grow up in a church household. My wife did, and so when we met, we started going to church a lot more. And at first, I was like, they just want my money. That's really all they want.
Yeah, right.
I understand now
The church sucks.
what the reason why, um, because they're doing great things. Flat Earth is doing incredible things, right?
Yeah.
But I think my faith in God and His plan for me has definitely evolved over the last couple of years, just because at one, I didn't really know what my purpose was, who I wanted to be, where I was going. But now that I fully entrust Him with everything that's been going on, I am not so stressed out anymore. Like
Yeah.
I have faith that I will be okay, and like my business will grow in the time that it needs to grow. And same thing with my relationships and things like that too. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the biggest shift, there's so many, dude. Jesus is awesome. Like he's so cool. He's magnificent.
Yeah.
I think the
One of the
biggest,
most powerful stories that I have, sorry, then I'll let you share your
you know,
story
go
because
for it. Yeah.
I want to hear it. This is when I was like, this took me from like kind of believing to I am now a full believer, right? It's a couple years ago during the Texas snowstorm. My younger brother was living in Austin at the time, and his car was really low on gas. He lost power for 3 or 4 days. He was in his little apartment, didn't have no electricity. So he was laying in his bed, freezing, with no food, pretty much no water for a couple of days. And I was freaking out. My parents were freaking out. No one could get to him. He couldn't even go fill up his car with gas because all the gas pumps were down. So it was just really scary. And that's when I like stopped everything. I just started talking to God, like, please just help him out. Please just give him something, fix the power, send him somebody, do something to help him out because he's freaking out. He's getting really depressed, and I don't know what might happen. And I'm not kidding. I said amen. 30 seconds later, one of my good friends who lives in Austin has a massive 350 truck. And she was like, we have a generator. We have power. Is your brother in Austin? Is he close by? And I said, yeah,
Incredible.
here's his address. She went to go pick him up. She took him over and they gave him food. They gave him a shower. They gave him all this kind of stuff. And my prayer was answered right then and there,
That's incredible.
which is
Incredible.
crazy. Now, I've had other
Crazy.
prayers that have been answered over time, but that one was eye opening for me.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy?
It's
Like
wild.
we can't know God's plans. We don't know, not every prayer is going to be answered like that. And like not everyone has that experience, but like he's listening, right?
Yeah.
Like he heard you. Like and he knew that's like what was needed in the time for you. And like that's
Yeah.
so cool. And I think that props to you for for actually sitting down and like taking the time to like stop and pray. Because like how often do so many other people find themselves in that exact same situation and they
Yeah.
don't even take the time to stop and pray? Like actually sit down and pray, right?
Right.
And similar to that, I would say that perhaps the biggest shift since recommitting my life to Christ, because I grew up in a Christian home. I grew up, very religious, very conservative. Like I always say that I will be an apologist for the rest of my life because I grew up knowing the Bible inside and out, but not just the Bible. I mean, all the religions. I mean, we
Yeah.
studied them. I was homeschooled, and my mom. One of my senior projects or in high school was I had to read a book, a cute, like really thick book that like covered all of the different religions, like study them thoroughly, and then write a report on the differences and all that. I mean, like very well versed in that. And I was like, that's cool. I know all these information and I'm not interested at all. And when I, moved out of the house, I was like, God, listen, I'm not saying you're not real, totally are, but I'm gonna go get rich and then I'll come back and have a conversation. We'll chat. Just bad, just don't with God. Like, I mean, he's
Yeah.
so loving, but also bad call on my part. But when I recommitted my life to Christ, several years later, it was Jesus became real, meaning he became someone I could talk to that was as real as talking to my wife or to you right now.
Yeah.
Like I felt like he was there and
You can
listening.
feel him
And
there listening.
you
Yeah.
could feel him. Like you could feel when he is in the room. You can feel the power of the Holy Spirit, right? You can feel and it was this beautiful thing of like, have you ever seen the maybe in church they tell the story a lot. I think it's there's these two footprints on the sand. We're in heaven. We go up to and we're with Jesus and he's showing us our life. We're looking over our life, and there's these two sets of footprints in the sand. And Jesus goes, this is where I was walking beside you, here and here and here and here. And all of a sudden, the two sets of footprints go down to
Became
one set of footprints,
one set.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, Jesus, well, where were you there? Like you left me. And he's like, no, that was where I carried you, right? And it was
It
like,
was it was then that I carried you is right here.
that is wild, dude. That's
Isn't that cool?
crazy.
Right here.
That's so yeah, that. And it was like, oh wait, that's right. Those weren't he wasn't the one that left, right? Because he didn't. And like that, knowing where you have, I'm a huge Elon Musk fan. I think the guy's so inspiring. I mean, can you tell? drive the truck.
Clearly.
But
Yeah.
it's like imagine if you had Elon Musk next to you all the time, and his sole responsibility in life was just to make sure that like you succeeded.
Right.
Now multiply, like how powerful would that be? It'd be insane, right?
That'd be wild.
Now multiply that times 1,000 square rooted times infinity forever. That's Jesus.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
changed. It was like, it wasn't a set of rules that I had to follow, although religion provides a structure for life that I think is very, very good. However, it starts with understanding that there is a real entity, Jesus, who
Yeah.
walked as a man, right? Like you and I, that is next to us, that we have a relationship with, that we want good, wants what's best for us, has good plans for us. He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. He's sitting right next to us, and he wants what's best for us.
Yeah.
And we can talk to him, have a relationship with him. And then when you have a relationship, he goes, cool, here's my word. Like, here's the book of life. Like, follow it. That's the biggest change. And business is hard, dude. Like, business is hard, especially right now, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I've been in business for over a decade now, which is wild. Yeah, about a decade. And I don't know if it's ever been harder than right now. But also, God's in control, or like Jesus is in control. And
Yeah.
like, he is not worried about the economy,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like really,
He's
really,
got
really,
it under control. He knows what he's doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He knows what he's doing. Yeah.
So here's a question for you. This is something that I feel like some people might want to ask you. In a world where we're constantly comparing each other, comparing ourselves to each other, right? Different entrepreneurs, different successful people, trying to get views and numbers and more money and followers and all that kind of stuff. And I know that you've had some incredible conversations with some famous people. What what kind of keeps you humble?
My
What keeps your
wife,
ego in check,
my
Josh?
wife, my wife.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. Um, I I grew up very insecure. I had a lot of insecurities. That feeling of that I wasn't enough, that I had to prove myself for most of my life, up until maybe 4 years ago or so, 4 or 5 years, and still wrestled with it even then. Will drive you to be egotistical. Will drive you to oh, it's about me and whatnot. My wife's incredible, and my wife reminds me. Okay, here's a funny story. She reminds me that I am like, hey, you're just you, dude. Like, you're not better than anyone else. Like, come down to our level. Uh, we were one of the big things I wrestle with is patience. It's like one of my big weaknesses is I'm not a very patient person. Now, I'm incredibly patient with my wife. I'm incredibly patient with my daughters, but like out in the world, around anyone else, it's like I'm just like, let's go, come on. I want to run people off the road if they're driving too slow in the left lane. It's a problem.
Right.
And my wife will tell me, she's like, hey, your tone is off. Like you don't recognize that you sound really rude to people. I'm like, no, I don't. So one time we're going through the drive-through, and I ordered food, and we started to pull up, and she's like, right there, that was so rude. And I'm like, no, it was not. I just ordered. Like, what are you even talking about? And she goes, I recorded it.
Oh,
And so she pulls up the
called
phone and plays.
out. Okay.
Yeah, she plays it back to me, and I listen to myself interact with this person. And I was like, wow, I am an a-hole. That's crazy. And it's like moments like that, because I love my wife. I trust my wife. I respect my wife. Like, I mean, my wife is the only person on earth, genuinely. I mean, my mom and my dad, I would say, are close, but like that genuinely, I know that she wants what is best for me. Like, she's not trying to like one
Yeah.
up or like she's not like trying to put me down. Like, we're on the same team. We're in sync. And when she plays that, it's like, okay. So, yeah, my wife keeps me humble.
That's awesome. I've
Yeah.
been going to the Flatirons Men's Connect every Wednesday for the last couple of weeks, which has been awesome. And
Nice.
most men that are in that group talk about how we feel like we're not good enough. So there's this pressure about providing and making more money and doing everything and being the rock of the family. And sometimes it takes a toll on us, and we feel like we're not really realizing what it's doing to us until it's not too late, but until we need our wife or we need someone from a church to be like, look, it's okay. You don't have to be the best at everything. You don't have to be super rich or super helpful or any kind of stuff. As long as you're just here and present and listening to me, I feel like that's another way you could provide, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
and I think because I think that struggle is probably the seems to be one of the most universal among men
yeah.
of like we could all relate to that. And
I think just generationally, like, because that's how my dad was, that's how his dad was, that's how everyone else's dad was. And so it's like we want to do the same thing.
yeah, I also think it's a lie from Satan though. I mean, it is a lie from Satan.
Mm,
And um the struggle is real or the feeling is real, but it's still something can be real and still be a lie, right?
right.
And one of the most powerful questions I've ever been asked was when I was at the lowest point of my life. My brother had just passed away in a helicopter crash unexpectedly. My wife and I went around the world to try to like process what that was like, basically running from the problem. I found myself in a very dark moment of life, like very low point, and I hired Katie, coach of mine, and incredibly powerful coach. And the first question that she asked me, we get on the phone. I had paid, like I had no money at the time. She was $60,000. I had $8,000 left in my name. I was like, I can't make the second payment, but here's the first 5 grand. I need help. And we get on the phone and she asked me, she's like, all right, Josh, tell me what's wrong. And I proceed to, for the next like 40 minutes, tell her all the problems in my life of like, oh, the business, oh, the this, oh, my ads aren't working, or, oh, I don't make enough money, or, oh, this problem, that problem, for like 40 minutes. And then we get done, or I get done, and she goes, are you finished? I said, I think so. And she goes, okay, Josh Forti, who are you? I'm like, what the frick does that even mean, Katie? Like, I don't even, I just stopped like giving you
Yeah.
my problem. Josh Forti, who are you? That question was so powerful because up until that moment in my life, I didn't even know that that was a question to ask.
Right.
I didn't even know, what do you mean, who am I? It's like, what do I do? That's what I was asking. Like, what? No, who are you? And what I learned through the process of this was before I had recommitted my life to Christ at this time, but was that the answer to that question was not determined by me.
Mm,
I didn't get to answer that question. God got to, because He's the one that defines who I am. Jesus says who I am, right? And that's what, we sing the song. It's like, I am who you say I am. Like, if we really sat down and thought about the power of that message,
yeah.
I don't get to, like, I am powerful, I am influential, I am wealthy, I am free. Like, I am. Like, I'm those things. But before even those things, I'm a child of God, saved by Him. I'm a child of God, loved by Him, saved through through Jesus, right? And it's like, okay, if that's who I am, and that is the highest level of truth, and I believe that, then when I feel like I'm not enough, it doesn't matter if I feel that way or not.
Hmm.
I have to remind myself of what is true. It's like if you're upset at your spouse, she's still your spouse,
Right.
right? And so it's like you have a responsibility to take care of her. Now, hopefully you would always want to, regardless, but it's like just because you're upset for a moment or don't feel like it for a moment doesn't change what's true. And so for me, I'm very blessed. Don't get me wrong. I wrestle and I struggle with things and I like directionally and like I have all the a lot of the same struggles as everybody else. But when it comes to feeling like I'm not enough, like I just literally just go, yeah, but Jesus says I am. So,
Yeah.
and that's enough. And I think that if we
Because
could remind
Jesus
ourselves as
made
men
me
of
in
that.
His image, and this is enough.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
He's enough.
Yeah.
Because He said so. Like it's like you don't even get to argue with it. Like it's like it. Can I just like rant about Jesus for a second? Like
Go
just
for it.
like He's God. He's Jesus. He is truth. People are like, what? What is truth? I'm like, wrong question. It's who is truth. Okay, like truth is not it's a what, it's a who, it's an it, it's singular. It's His name's Jesus. So like because it says in the Bible that all authority, all power has been given to Him. He is at the highest, meaning there is no fundamental thing or truth that is more true or hierarchy than Jesus. So whatever He says goes. Why? Because He's the King. And
Right.
when the King speaks, we listen. The end. And so that this man, this being, this entity He's the most powerful, the most loving, the most gracious, the most true. He is the only thing that is true. That entity, when he speaks, the end. And we don't get to argue with it. One of my favorite sermons of all time, I like Jesus Image. Michael Koulianos is just phenomenal. And he talks about Jesus. He goes, you don't get to argue with him. You can't impeach him. You can't tell him what he says goes. And
Right.
when Jesus says, I love you, when Jesus says, you're mine, when Jesus says, you're enough because of, when Jesus says, you can't earn this, I gave it to you for free, right? When Jesus says, I want what's best, that's the truth, the end.
Yeah.
And I think if we as Christians, we as men could sit in that truth for a second and stay there and go, okay, when I'm feeling like this, let's bring me back to this. It's not easy. It's not. I love
Yeah.
the fact that you're in Wednesday's group. I mean, that's so, like, dude, just that alone, I'm like so much respect. There are so many men that aren't even willing to go and get around other men.
Right.
And it's like, I have a group of guys that I meet with every week. There's 6 of us. And it's like getting around those and keeping grounded will change your life. And so if you want to
100%.
know who Josh was, who Josh is outside of the success and, or the, what everyone, the polished image, as you say, like I'm a child of God saved by him, man. Like, and I'm that way, front facing internally. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm, an entrepreneur. I study Bitcoin, but through all of it, it's like, I am who God says I am.
Okay. So
Yeah.
follow-up question to that is what brings you joy outside of your business? Like what's something that reconnects you with who you really are? Not your family, because I know that's a
Okay.
given.
So not family. Okay. So something
Not
outside of
family.
that.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
that's outside of business and family that brings you happiness with and connects you with who you really are.
Uh, a funny answer, but accurate, like at a true is the Cybertruck. I I'm very I love the Cybertruck. Like I
Okay.
love driving it. I love the technology of it. Like when I need to think, when I just want to I just want to go drive the truck. That, but and then a deeper answer is the Bitcoin.
Okay.
Is yeah, the study of Bitcoin as a technology, not
Why
as
why
a
does this bring you joy?
the truck.
Yeah, or Bitcoin. It makes sense why the truck gives you joy because it's fun, right?
It's so much fun, dude. It's
It's
so much
so
fun.
yeah, I felt it, right? But why
Yeah.
Bitcoin? Just because it's nerdy?
Hmm.
Not calling you nerd, but it is.
Oh, I'm a nerd. I that's fine. Because I believe that Bitcoin is the first. I believe that Bitcoin is aligned with the Bible. I believe that it is biblical principles in technology form. And that the adoption of Bitcoin as a technology,
Hmm,
I want to continuously say that because I'm not talking about just trading as a cryptocurrency. No. Like that as a technology, Bitcoin as a technology, the adoption of that will bring more people to Christ and to usher in biblical principles of the world more than almost anything else we've ever seen that's
hmm.
not like the Bible or the church.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. hmm And um, I want my daughters to grow up in a world that is better than what we have now. One that isn't built on lies, one that isn't built on a broken system, a broken monetary system. Um, like, dude, they're stealing our money, they're stealing our life, they're stealing our energy. You work hard, you work hard, and you get paid a little bit of money, and then you want to save it, and they take half of it in taxes. But then when the stuff that you do save, they print and double the money supply, and then they steals another half. And that money represents your work, your life. Like it represents real hours that were put into it.
Right.
And they can just print it. And it's like, that's broken. And like Bitcoin's a chance to fix that. Bitcoin is a chance to
Okay.
say, hey, listen, 2 + 2 does equal 4. Hey, you should be able to work hard for your money, do an honest day's work, and save it, and that should be enough, right? Like, and if we can usher that in to the world, like if we have a chance to further that, like I don't have I don't need vacation. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. My wife and I go on vacation, like one big vacation once a year, and we take time off to go reconnect with one another. But like, if you gave me $1 billion, I would wake up tomorrow and do the exact same thing that I'm doing right now, right? Like literally
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
only difference in my life, if you gave me $1 billion right now, is that I would fly private instead of commercial, and that I'd buy my wife a house in the Virgin Islands. That's it. That's like the
Yeah.
literally only because
But
like
that would bring you joy as well,
what?
right? Flying private, buying a big app, like buying a huge house, things like that. Because that makes you feel like
Mm,
that I'm good enough, I'm successful. Make you feel proud that you,
no, uh, I mean, yeah, but I don't want a house in the Virgin Islands. That's great. But the reason that would make
yeah,
me happy is because I know it would bring my wife a lot of joy,
yeah.
right? And like,
That
dude,
brings you
if
joy when you bring your wife joy.
yeah, hmm
Yeah.
yep,
I remember
yeah,
you
when I
asking me that question, like within the first 10 seconds of ever meeting or seeing each other in person. You were like, if I give you $1 billion right now, would you continue to do the same thing?
that sounds like me, right?
Yeah. And I was like, who is this weirdo?
Yeah,
This is my first day at church and I'm already being approached by weird people.
like yeah, right? Yeah. Well, welcome to
Yeah.
my family. The first time my
But
wife ever met my family, my sisters, it was literally at my brother's funeral. It was the first time my wife met the rest of my family, and my sister's first question to her, like literally the first time they had ever met, and she walks up to her and was like, "What are your top five hopes, dreams, and fears?" First question. Like
yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah,
So in this environment, let me think of 15 different answers for you.
yeah, right.
Yeah. That's
But
crazy.
yeah, and the flying private thing is, I mean, like, yes, it would make me feel more successful, I suppose.
I mean,
Yes, you're
that'd
right.
be
That's
that'd be
true.
badass.
But
That'd be really, really cool.
huh?
I said that'd be badass to just
Yeah,
fly
it would be so,
all over
yeah,
the place.
so much
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But also, remember when I said I was impatient? Like, I just hate lines, dude. I hate waiting in line. I hate
Yeah.
having to be like, no.
Are you flying
So,
anytime soon? Because they just cut like half the employees at the airport.
yeah,
So now
because of the shutdown.
yeah, because now
No,
the lines are
thankfully
longer.
not. But we've got a bunch of clients flying in next week, and I'm like, yikes! I
Yeah.
really hope that they can all make it in. I don't care if they make it out, but
Welcome.
like,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Welcome to our awful airport.
Well, no, it's the whole like the whole country. It's like
Yeah.
they've got it all that. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, like to bring a point to answer to that question, um it wouldn't make me. I mean, yes, it'd make me feel more successful, I suppose, but like I have a purpose and a drive and a mission in life, and my mission is to set entrepreneurs free. And like that's our goal. And long term in life, the reason that that's important is because I want to I want my daughters to grow up in a better world than what we currently have now. And the way we're going to do that is by accelerating the adoption of Bitcoin uh, and Bitcoin technology by building real solutions that solve people's problems. But if powerful men and women like Johnny, dude, you're a powerful man. Like you're powerful, right? Like I am powerful. We're powerful people. And entrepreneurs change the world, yes, but I think more accurately than that is powerful men and women change the world. Whether you're an
Yeah.
entrepreneur or not, powerful men and women change the world. And so if powerful men and women live in a world where their life is being sucked away and their money and their power and energy is being stolen from them, how are we going to go change the world? And so our mission is to get paid, be free. Why?
Yeah.
Because the get paid is get out, like get ahead, like get some freedom in your life, get some
Yeah.
options, have the freedom to think for a second, right? Like then be free is, and then get out of the monetary system, dude. Like
Yeah.
like let's build a better world. And
Yeah.
that's our mission. And that's what I want. Like we've got about 30 people that are coming in next week at the event. You'll be there.
Yep.
And like the whole, get paid, be free. Show them how to get paid. Show them how to get ahead. Why? So that they can go and go back to their families, go back to their communities, and operate as powerful free men and women. And
Yeah.
then use that to go and get free or be free, usher in a better system. And so
Yeah.
that's the mission. That's what we're doing. And I mean, I've been very, very blessed to have some really good mentors around me, some really good people. I grew up with an incredible family. We didn't have a lot of money. We weren't homeless or anything, right? But it's like, but I had a good moral foundation. I got around good coaches and mentors. I have an incredible wife. I haven't done anything too stupid. Knock on wood, and pray to the power of the Holy Spirit to keep it that way. But like, I haven't done anything too stupid, and I've been very, very blessed to recognize that like who I am offline and who I am online, while while operationally they're different because one's family and one's, business or whatnot, they're the same person. And it's
Yeah.
one mission, one goal, one focus, and everything in life is aligned around that. And that's like a really beautiful, powerful way to live. And I hope more
Yeah.
people get to experience it.
That's incredible. It's
Yeah.
free people,
Because free people, dude. Let's
right?
freaking go.
Let's
Free
freaking
people, free.
go.
It's that's in my presentation next week. I'm like,
Let's
yeah,
go. I love it.
I'm taking it from you. Yeah,
All right, I'm gonna bring a blowhorn and right at that moment.
you should.
That'd be hilarious. All right, man. So because this show is called Beyond the Mask, okay, and I feel like every entrepreneur, every business owner has some sort of transformation that, or like a moment that kind of forces us to face what's holding us back, right? And it's
Ooh.
emotional. It's really emotional, right? So before you started Golden Mike, right? Before all your followers, before the impact that you've been able to leave on your clients and on me for sure, what was something that you had to forgive or let go to become the person you are today? This is my signature question that I ask everyone on the show because it's powerful and
There's something you had to forgive or let
it's
go of.
completely different for everybody. Yeah.
I had to let go of the old version of me and
Mm.
the identity and the expectations of the things that I thought I wanted.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I used to like I wore flip flops everywhere. I'd speak on stage in flip flops. I would dress in a way that was obnoxious, and I didn't want to grow up because I didn't want to let go of that version of me. And it was like, yeah, but okay, you can be obnoxious, Josh. Like you can be loud and obnoxious and dress the way you want, or you can, like man up and like be the man God's called you to be. You can lead a family, you can lead a movement, you can lead a business, you can
Yep.
lead a team. Because that version, the old version of Josh was not able to. But I
Yep.
think the more powerful part of that question is what did you have to forgive? And man, I had to forgive the people in my life that hurt me, that because they hurt me, that pain was what drove me. And when I was driven by pain, I didn't operate from a place of power. I was operating from a place of fear. I was running from that.
Mhm.
And when through Jesus and alone and the power of the Holy Spirit, like I was able to forgive those people, the people that hurt me, the people that didn't think like that told me like I wasn't good enough, the people that when they said that, like I'll net like burning image of their face when they said it, and I'm like, I will prove you wrong if I die trying, right? If when
Yep.
I could let go of all that and go, no, no, this isn't about proving them wrong. It's about living how Jesus called me to live, and uh, that's that was hard. That was hard, dude. But that's what I think that
Yeah.
was a turning point. That's a good question.
Yeah. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing. That's really powerful. You know, I feel like a lot of people, including myself, um, had a lot of people in our younger years that either made fun of us or pushed us around or didn't think we were good enough and made us feel small or insecure, right? And yeah, proving them wrong is a good way to put that, but it's now that I'm in my 30s, like yeah, I feel like I've proven people wrong, but now it's more about just fulfilling that purpose that God's given me.
Yeah, dude. Because like, okay,
Yeah.
what? You prove them wrong. Then what?
Yeah. I did
It's like
it.
what?
All right, now what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, that's my answer. Dude, I really appreciate you having me on. Like, I really appreciate
Yeah.
these questions. I mean, it was great. It was a lot of
Thank
fun.
you. All right, man. Last final question we have for you, and then I'm gonna let you go. But to a lot of the entrepreneurs who are watching this podcast right now and who are listening to this right now, who are working hard, trying to do all the right things, or but still kind of feel stuck or unsure what the next step is, if you could speak directly to that person, what would you tell them?
If they're stuck and unclear on what the next step is,
Yep.
go spend time with God.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah. That's awesome.
yeah. That's it.
I feel like earlier we were talking about feeling him and like being present with him. I feel like if more people can do that, you might start to identify what your true purpose is. and like know who you are. And then we can kind of figure out where we can drive our business, where we can drive our relationships and things like that.
Yeah, Jesus can do more with one person who spends time with him than the person who spends an entire year trying to do things for him.
For him, for
Like
myself.
he
Yeah.
doesn't need you to do things. He needs you to spend time with him. Or
Yeah.
like you need to spend time with him.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking to myself there as much as anyone else. Like you're not behind. You just need to spend time with Jesus. And I promise
Love
you
it.
that if you're supposed to be an entrepreneur, like if I promise you, if you spend time with Jesus, you will find clarity.
Love it. Love it. Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate you being here. This was so much fun, and
Yeah, it was.
I love hearing some of the insight that you have, beyond the mask, beyond the business, and just understanding who you really are. I know a lot of other people who are watching this will really appreciate that as well. So thank you for sharing and being open and honest with everything. Um, if you guys are watching, you guys want to get in contact with Josh, he's on Instagram, he's on, Facebook, LinkedIn, he's on all the stuff. But
I'm
check
actually
him
not on
out.
LinkedIn,
Oh, you're not on
but
LinkedIn.
the rest of them, actually, I guess I do have a profile there, but don't not LinkedIn.
Instagram. That's his main
Yeah,
thing, right?
Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
or our podcast, the Get Paid Be Free show. Yeah, check it out.
Get paid, be free. Golden Mike, you guys check him out. Please reach out to him if you guys have questions or if you need some sort of coach just to kind of help you figure out what the next steps are. Josh is the real deal. So, hey, man, thanks a lot, and we'll talk soon.
Talk to you soon, dude.
All
Thanks.
right, everyone watching this, please go ahead and like this video. Please hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll put a link down in the description so you guys can reach out to Josh as well. So, all right, thanks a lot, man. Talk to you later.